We went on a double date with a couple of our friends.
We did go on a double date. Yeah, you guys, we talk about dating a lot, right? We do. So, I mean, it seems like you probably watch the show and think, man, that couple, all they do is date. I'm not sure why they even got married. They like to go on dates all the time, and we do that kind of thing more than the average couple, I would say. I made plans like weeks ago. It's a restaurant that's been around for a long time, and I just got online to see the next Saturday that was available for like a 7 o'clock, 7:30 reservation. And it was a couple of months before we could get in. So I went ahead and made a reservation for 4, just in case we wanted to go on a double date. I didn't make a plan ahead of time to make it a double date, but it was close to my birthday, and it's a restaurant that I've been wanting to try, and it ended up being a really great night.
Yeah, it's kind of a special restaurant, right? I had told you about it before, and you probably heard about it from some other people. It's fairly renowned in this area where we live. It's kind of special because it's this really great restaurant, but it's built in this old tavern in a town out in the middle of nowhere that's so small. It's basically just an intersection.
Yeah, it is. Some houses, and I think the only thing in the town is this little restaurant, really.
Yeah, I think it is.
And it used to be a tavern, like Jason said, and I'd been wanting to try it. I'd heard really good things about it, but there's some really interesting things about this restaurant that are kind of traditions that make it a special occasion, kind of, that we'll get into.
Yeah, so the story I always heard, and I'm not sure it's 100% true, is, up in Chicago, there was a really good chef that got kind of burnt out on the big city life, and he bought that building in the middle of nowhere in the countryside in Indiana and opened that bar. And if you go up there, you think there's no way a restaurant could survive in that area, but it just goes to show you if you're good enough, people will travel to you.
Right, and evidently it was originally just kind of the local tavern, and they said it was even kind of a biker bar in that area.
There was even rumors that it was a brothel at one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, it's been there since like the very early 1900s.
So at some point in maybe the 80s, 90s, do you know when it became a restaurant? Do you have any idea?
Probably in the 90s, yeah. I'm guessing.
So it became a restaurant with a good chef, and the thing is, they didn't change the decor. I mean, they updated the decor, I'm sure they did, from the time it was a saloon or whatever, but
it's still got the classic feel of an old bar.
Right? They didn't make it super fancy. It's very unpretentious, and the food is actually it's like they make fancy food unpretentious.
It's fantastic.
The food was great. The experience was great. Yeah. Let's go back to this. So we took our good friends with us who also been wanting to try the restaurant. It was a fun double date night, and it's about an hour from our house.
Yeah, the special thing about this place is when it first opened, they didn't take reservations. It was first come, first served. So people would come and they would put their name in, and the place was always packed. So what they would do is they'd hang out in the parking lot, have a couple of drinks, and hang out with their friends until their table came up. And then that just caught on to the point where people started tailgating the restaurant. So you go up there's this big gravel parking lot, and people are tailgating outside their vehicles, just waiting for their reservation to come up.
So yeah, that's kind of the story history, and everyone talks about it, how you go up to this restaurant and tailgate while you're waiting for your table. They do take reservations now, but evidently they did not for a long time, so that's how it all got started. And from what I understand, it would be packed. People would be playing cornhole outside and doing all this stuff. Right. And I guess they still do, and they would allow you to have alcohol on the premises, right, that wasn't theirs, and you could just take a cooler and take a couple of snacks and go up there at 4, 5, 6 o'clock and wait till your table is called. They haven't changed that. Even though they take reservations now, but you still go up early and tailgate. It's become part of the charm of the whole place. And we did. We just took like some nuts and some wine and
some lawn chairs.
And we went up early. It's about an hour drive from our house, like I said. So it's a little bit of an adventure, and it makes you feel like you're kind of doing something special. And sure enough, we got there and the parking lot was full of several groups of people with chairs waiting for tables.
Yeah, it's just kind of a fun scene.
And it's crazy. The place is only open from like 5 to 9. I think like Tuesday to Saturday. I'm not 100% sure about that, so I don't want to misrepresent, but we haven't even mentioned the name of it. But
yeah, so the place is called Bonge's Tavern. So it's Bonge. Bonge's Tavern.
It's very unpretentious. It's like they make very fancy food. You had a duck breast stuffed with jalapeno cheese and
that was fantastic.
Some sort of sauce. And
so it was cool. So it was 4 of us, and I think each one of us ordered something different just to be able to kind of try all the different things.
Like I had venison, something I would never order, but it was a special for the night, and the server highly recommended it. And Jason had the duck, and one of our friends had the northern trout. No, is that what it was? Some sort of trout.
Yeah,
it was
some
trout.
kind of fish.
And then David had the Perkinsville pork, which was delicious.
Yeah,
Everything was delicious. The most delicious thing, I don't mean to, like, we could do a whole commercial for this place. I thought it was great and well worth the drive. The service was great. The experience was fun, and the food was great. And the salad, you get a wedge salad or cup of soup before your dinner. 2 of us got salads, 2 of us got soup, and then they divided the wedge salads into fourths. I love wedge salads anyway, but this was the most delicious one I have ever had. It was absolutely outstanding.
It was all fantastic.
And the tomato soup was great.
I had the tomato soup, right, and it had chunks of pork belly in it.
Yeah, and so did the wedge salad.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Little cubes of pork belly. And,
yeah, if you don't like that, you're crazy.
Yeah.
It was just really good.
But we had so much fun. That's the thing. And so then we kind of started talking about why is it so much fun to go on a double date, even when you're older. So, the experience was great. It would have been fun if we went by ourselves, but it's so much fun sometimes to have date night with another couple. Why do you think that is, honey?
Well, I mean, you got more people to talk to. It just makes for more conversations. Plus, it was kind of nice to share that place with our friends.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Plus, it was close to my birthday, and they treated us to dinner, which was extremely generous and sweet and made the night even extra special. But we had such a nice night with them. I think double dates are fun because, we talked before about how sometimes it's hard to not talk about things that are going on at home or not talk about mundane things when you have date night,
Right.
I think especially couples that have kids. And so when you go on a double date, it makes you feel a little bit more like a couple, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And if you're with a couple who is, likes each other and everything, it's even better.
I don't know. We've never met a couple like that. No. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding.